Hey guys, welcome to TFW Youth. Really pleased that you're just here and joining us. I'm just so excited about what God is going to share tonight. I was just encouraged today actually that God has a plan for you and He has a plan for me. I read this verse in Habakkuk chapter 1 and it says, I think it's verse 3, it says, watch and be amazed because God is doing something in your time that you could not even imagine that God right now is doing something. He is working in our situations. He's working in your life right now and doing something incredible. And that's what encourages me. So I just want to encourage you tonight, that God is going to do something awesome in your life. And even though sometimes it can feel like the mist is surrounding us, we can't quite see through the fog, we know that God is always with us. And I'm really excited tonight because Dan is going to share us his testimony. It's really great. Testimonies are just how God has been working in our life, the way we've come to faith. It's kind of our story. We've all got a story to share. So I just want to encourage you to really focus on that. But before we do that, we're going to spend a bit of time worshiping. Just sit and listen wherever you are and just have that heart open and be expectant to hear from God tonight. So I'm going to pray and then we're going to carry on. So Father, we just thank you for your goodness. We thank you that you've got a great plan for each one of us. We love you, Lord. And we just pray that you'd speak to us tonight through Dan's testimony. Amen. Amen.
Let the king of my heart be life, but I've heard the tender whisper of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good, good Father. Yes, you are. Yes,
Hi guys, my name is Dan, and you probably best know me from dancing around at the back with the bass guitar when we were allowed to have worships with the youth band, worship sessions and stuff, which is awesome. I'm originally from Brighton, Brighton Way, a place called Lewes, Sussex, in the county of Sussex, and I'm up here studying at Recife University. Josh has asked me to do a testimony of my Christian faith and just how, and all that sort of thing for you guys, and just hope to encourage you. So, I've just finished hockey, so I'm just sat in a car park at the moment, and just thought I should probably do it now. Right, so where to begin? So I was brought up in a town called Lewes, and my mum and dad my whole sort of family, very Christian, really awesome Christian family, and I was brought up in this little church called Ringmer Baptist Church. It was about 30 people, and I went there every single day, since I was a kid, so I was always brought up with God and what Christians were about, and lived a very shielded life, with sort of, my mum and dad were very the way Sundays were off, you literally went to church and then you just stayed at home, no football, no sport, no TV. It was very much a day of rest and for the Lord, which I just sort of always saw when I was younger, what were we doing? All my mates are playing football and stuff, which was hard when you're younger, but hey, it's just what it is, isn't it? And you grow and you just understand. But I was very blessed with my childhood. It was awesome, and I was very lucky. So anyway, I got older, got to about, 12, sort of 14, which is sort of, I say, the first time I gave my life to the Lord. I really believed, I had such a feeling. I did my first sermon around that age about Genesis. I've still got it in my Bible. To date, my only sermon. So that was cool. And then I went to Spring Harvest with a couple of church friends that year at Butlins down south somewhere, which was amazing. But then I sort of went to secondary school and went through that stage of a bit rebellious or going away from things and not really understanding the world, I suppose. And I sort of went away from the Lord, I suppose. I always knew the Lord was with me, and I prayed every day, just maybe more of a habit than actually wanting to and actually believing it. I sort of drifted away. I never lost my faith. I always believed there was a God. But as you get older and your mates want to do things, and you get to 18 and your mates are like, come out, let's go and have a beer, let's go and do this, let's try and chat all these girls and sort of things. And it opens your eyes to what the world has to offer. And I was very lucky when I was a kid to be very shielded. In a way, there's a downside, but I didn't even watch Harry Potter. I've never watched it, just because of what my mum thought about it. And God was the centre of our childhood and my mum and dad's marriage, which is great, an amazing place to be brought up in. But when you get older and you think this is what the world offers and it's amazing and it seems so fun, so I went away, and I don't think I believed as much as I did, but I knew the Lord was always with me. I always went to church still, sort of more just I had to go. I never really wanted to. Just try and fast forward a little bit. It's going on forever otherwise. So I could have, I went to college, Plumpton Agricultural College, to study farming. I'm a farmer, I don't know if I said that already. And I went there, and that was a very agricultural style of life where, as you know, farmers love a beer and go down the pub and they live life to the fullest, which is what you got involved in. It was an awesome time, really, really good. But I was lucky enough to win a scholarship to New Zealand, to go and milk cows over there, which you can do, which is very exciting. So I was on a 750 cow herd in the middle of this place called the Waikato, which is in the North Island, in a little town called Taumutu. And that is where my faith just re-established itself, and God come back into my life, and took off, really. I landed on the Sunday. I went to this church, a local church, the Baptist church, and about 2 or 3 Sundays later I was playing bass or guitar in the services and being invited to play in the worship bands, which was awesome. I really got to grow in that, and that was really fun. And when I first went there, they were all playing all these modern songs which I'd never heard before, Like when my mum and dad went to church, you know, the most modern song we had was "Blessed Be Your Name," and we were still reading out the Songs of Fellowship book, so it was a bit new for me. But it was amazing, and an amazing time. Work was great, and I was able to meet loads of people. And I went to this brass band, so I'm a brass band player, and I went to this brass band in the town, and I met this lady called Jenny, who's had a massive part of my life. And I just got to know her a bit, and when it came to Christmas, she invited me round for dinner with the family because I didn't have anybody because I'd gone out on my own. So that was really nice, and then, you know, went on from there. I was lucky enough to go to this, so I didn't really get to know their family that much then, but, you know, I went to this Christian festival called Festival One in end of January. It was actually on my birthday weekend when I turned 20, and it was amazing. I'd never been to a place where there was 5,000 Christians all together, and a lot of them my age, just worshipping the Lord and just being so close to. And there was no like drugs, there was no alcohol, it wasn't allowed on the site. And I'd never been to a festival where that wasn't a thing, and people were having fun and being themselves without alcohol or anything else. And it was such an eye opener to me. And probably the biggest thing, and I like to call these things sort of God moments, where you look back and go, whoa, the Lord is so in that, and it's just hit you, and you're like, this is amazing. We'd finished watching a movie on the Sunday night. It was about Winnie the Pooh, very Christian, like one of the remakes they did. It was about 12 o'clock, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. By the time we come out of the cinema bit, and in the festival they had this little marketplace, they called it, where you could buy food. And there was about 3 lads, maybe 4 or 5, I can't quite remember. They were all sat round in a little circle playing guitar, and there was another group, probably about 10 or 20 people around them, so just playing worship songs. So I went down, I just stood and watched, and within about 2 hours of being there, you know, there was about 300 people there, all my age, like no older than 25, and I'd never ever experienced that before. It was amazing to be experienced with other Christians my age and know that I'm not the only one who believes these things, and that, you know, you don't have to be an older person to believe in the Lord. And the spirit of the Lord was amazing. No one was embarrassed. Everyone was just singing their hearts out. And the stewards had to come and tell us to go to bed because it was like 3 a.m. and we were making too much noise. So that was amazing, and that's when my faith just kept, you know, taking off from there. And so Jenny and her family, she's got 5 children, and her husband Craig. And I basically got to know them, and she's an awesome Christian woman, and their family their house basically is like a church where you go and everything is about the Lord. And it was so encouraging to see that and be a part of it and get to know the family. And they basically adopted me, to be honest, when I was there. And it was such a blessing. And my faith just grew and grew. And 2 of their daughters, Kate and Hannah, we sort of formed like a little group almost and did all these songs together. And they started playing the worship band, which was great. And it was an awesome experience. My faith just took off. It was amazing. And but then it's like things like that. And you look back in your life now and you go, that God did that. God put that scholarship there for me because I'd gone away from him. I wasn't doing I was sort of going, oh, he's with me, I can just do what I like, but I know he's there, but I don't need to go to church, I don't need to worship him, I don't need to thank him for everything he does. And that was when I realised, I look back and I'm like, you know, things the Lord has done for me is amazing. And and then so then I came back from New Zealand. I went to university, so I'm at university studying dairy cows, which again is a thing you can do. At Reeseheath College in Nantwich, near Cheshire, well, near Crewe, sorry. And I met this bloke called Ollie Franklin, as you all know him. And again, this was another God moment. I was going to this group called Rooted, which was run by the chaplain from down the road, but he was the chaplain of the school. And he told me about this guy's number. This guy called Ollie, and he said, oh, he comes to uni occasionally, and he's a really awesome Christian guy, and he'd like to meet some other people. And I was like, yeah, cool. But I wasn't like, oh, I don't want to ring anybody, like, I just can't be bothered. So then one evening, it was on Thursday, about 5:30, I remember it really, really well. I went down to dinner, to the canteen. I used to always go on my own, so I went down, and I saw this lad, he was just sat on his own on the table, so I just went and sat opposite him, just because, you know, you do it as you do. And I had my lanyard with my name on it, I laid it on the table. And then Ollie just goes, hey, are you Dan? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, I'm Ollie. What? And I was like, oh, Ollie from Mr. Chang. And it just went like that, and then we started chatting, and then from then on we just, you know, we got to know each other. I started going to TFW. He invited me along. our friendship just blossomed, and it was the Lord just saying, you need to be with this guy, you need to meet this bloke, you need to come to this church, and and it was amazing. Like me and Ollie he'd come into my room and we'd play guitar and have a worship sessions, and with his cajon, and it was just all about the Lord. And we go down the pub every week, which is awesome. And then gradually over time, I've met his family. Over the lockdown, I was sort of part of their bubble because I lived on my own on a farm. So I got to know them heaps, and it's such a blessing to be a part of this church and how the Lord's moved with it. And now being part of this youth band we play in, it's such a blessing to be able to play music together with your friends, but also worshipping the Lord, which is awesome, and it's all about God. So I've been really blessed in my life, and how Lord just, if you turn everything to the Lord and let Him be in control of it, He is control of everything. And I love Jesus is the best, man. He died for us, and He's here for us every day. And I hope this has been an encouragement to you. It's been an amazing journey for me, and where I've come from, and now where I am in my faith. And yeah, it's awesome. So I hope this has been a bit of blessing to you, and you feel that this might touch you, and say that God is always with us, and He will take us places. And if you just trust Him, pray to Him, and say, Lord, I want you to be in my life. He will take you places you never thought. I never thought I'd go to New Zealand, and I've been there, and I loved it, and I'm a different person, than I ever would be without that. So, hey, I'm a big prayer. I love praying for people, and I just feel like I should be praying. I just pray just to close to say. So let's just close in prayer. Father, I just thank you for what you've done in my life, and how you've blessed me with the things and the people I've met. And I just pray that my words today encourage somebody watching this, Lord, that they are able to realise that you're always with us, regardless of what your circumstances are, where you've come from, etc., and that you're in control. In your mighty name, Father. Amen. Hey, cheers, guys. Hope everyone's doing okay. Staying positive even now. But hey, the Lord's in control. Just turn everything to Him. Right, cheers, guys.